Hello and welcome to this short video, CBD Products. My name's Andy Bowles and I'm a food lawyer. Now this is the 19th in a series of 100 videos that I'm recording on UK food law topics. Now you may be watching this video as part of our online training service, in which case you'll have access to an additional hour-long webinar which goes into obviously a little bit more detail, as well as some additional resources that you can download from the service. However, you might be watching this on our YouTube channel, which is absolutely fine as well. So, what is CBD? Well, it's cannabidiol. It's an extract from the cannabis plants, Cannabis sativa. Now, cannabis plant produces a whole range of products and has done for centuries. I mean, one of the best known products is hemp, which is used in rope making, but you'll also find it these days turning up in food supplements. The CBD, well, obviously is something that's extracted from the plant, but the compound, the chemical within the plant that I suppose makes it more attractive to some people is THC, which is the active ingredient that causes the high when it's smoked or ingested or whatever. So we are talking about the cannabis plant, but we're talking about a very specific extract from the cannabis plant. And CBD products, when they're placed on the market, shouldn't contain any of the active ingredient THC. So you'll find it in a whole range of products now across the board. I mean, everything from beers, wine, spirits, coffee, drops, syrups, gummies, all sorts of things will have CBD in them. Now, one of the issues with CBD products is the use of inappropriate claims, in particular health claims. So there is a separate video on health claims and some more materials if you subscribe to our online training service, some webinars on the topic as well. But in terms of placing on the market a CBD oil or a gummy as food, then there are no actual demonstrated health claims that can be currently used. Also, it is important to distinguish between a food and a medicine. A food cannot state that it can prevent, cure or treat any disease. That is a prohibited claim in food law. So if a CBD product is placed on the market with such a claim on the product, then that would be an unlawful product straight away. In order to make a claim such as to prevent, cure or treat a disease, then the product would need to be a medicine, and that's a different area, different regulatory framework. Okay, so what about the safety of CBD? Is it safe to consume these products? Well, the jury's still out on this. There is a lot of evidence to suggest there are some toxicological concerns. Now, what I mean by toxicological concerns, whenever a new product is placed on the market, then there are usually studies performed to find out what sort of effect it can have on the body. Now, there are lots of different studies, there are lots of things to consider here, but the most important issue is the way that CBD interacts with enzymes within our body. Now, these enzymes are used to metabolize drugs. So, if you're on medication, you rely on certain enzymes in your body to actually make the drugs work. So if you're taking CBD product, the concern is the CBD will interact with the enzymes, stop them from working, stop your medication from working. That is a concern. It's not proven, it is subject to further research, but that is one area of most concern, I think, for researchers. So it's this drug interaction issue. Now, the Food Standards Agency have recently reissued their guidance. Now, this video I'm recording in April 2024, so clearly it's a dynamic area of law and things may change by the time you watch this video. But at the time of recording, the Food Standards Agency's advice is that they do not recommend vulnerable people consume any CBD, and they define vulnerable as children under the age of 18, people taking any medication for the reason that I just described, because of this issue or concern regarding the interaction with the enzymes that help these drugs working. If you're trying to conceive, but also anyone who's pregnant or breastfeeding should avoid CBD products completely. They've also revised their advice on the recommended amount of CBD that should be taken by a healthy adult. So they're suggesting now that it should not exceed 10 milligrams a day. It used to be their advice was 70 milligrams a day. So they've really ratcheted it down, unless a doctor obviously suggests otherwise. And that, if you're thinking, well, what's 10 milligrams a day? If you're taking like drops of CBD oil, if it's 5% CBD oil, which is a very common form of oil out there, you're talking 4 to 5 drops a day. And that's the maximum for a healthy adult. So, in terms of regulatory framework, CBD products were declared as novel foods, both in the European Union and in the UK in 2019. What does that mean? Well, there is another video on novel foods, and if you're subscribing to our online training service, there is a series of webinars on novel foods as well. But basically, a novel food is a new food. It's a food where there's no history of substantial consumption in the UK or EU prior to the 15th of May 1997. That seemed like a very odd date to choose. Well, that's the date the law came into effect. Basically, what happened was they drew a line in the sand and said, right, anything that's already on the marketplace prior to the 15th of May 1997, okay, well, we'll just leave it. But any new products that are brought to the market after the 15th of May 1997, if there's no evidence that people have consumed them before, will be classed as regulated products, novel foods, and will have to go through an authorization before they're placed on the market. So CBD products are novel foods. If they contain THC, it's a different ballgame. Not only are they sort of just perhaps more interesting, but they're also a controlled drug. So we have the Misuse of Drugs Act 1971, which will apply. But as I said, most CBD products on the market should not have THC present, the active ingredient. So what's about legal sale? Because you go out there, you'll find CBD products all over the place. Well, what happened in March 2021? The Food Standards Agency said, look, okay, there are lots of them out there. They are novel products, novel foods. They do need authorization. They are what is known as regulated products. So therefore, there needs to be a line drawn in the sand. So what the Food Standards Agency did is they brought in an amnesty, that's my term, not theirs, where they said, okay, well, if a CBD product is already on the market, as long as they make an application for authorization from the Food Standards Agency before the 20, I think it's the, if they were on the market in February 2020, but they make the application before the end of March 2021, then they can continue to remain on the market. But if they don't or didn't make an application by that cut-off point, any CBD product introduced after that date to the market would be a new novel food and will have to have an authorization. So no new CBD products may be placed on the market unless they are authorized as novel foods. So there is this list on the Food Standards Agency website. If you just Google it, the FSA CBD list, and you'll see that every single product that is on the market now should be on that website. And what you'll see is either it will say something along the lines of being authenticated, I think is the term they use, or something along that line. And basically, it means that the Food Standards Agency are looking at, and they've looked at the documents, and they're quite happy they've submitted everything they need to, but they are getting round to authorising them. If they get round to looking at a product and then they reject it, it will be on the website that it's being rejected. So only products that have been authorised or are on the list as awaiting authorisation may remain on the UK market. If they're not on that list, well then the Food Standards Agency has requested that local authorities go out there and take enforcement action. The action they'll take is they will look at a CBD product. If it's not on the list, they might check with the Food Standards Agency for clarification, just to be absolutely sure. If it's not one that's authorised, it's not one that's seeking authorisation, then typically the local authority officers, and that's typically trading standards officers in this area, it doesn't have to be, but typically, they will serve a notice to require that product to be removed from the market. Okay, so that's where we are with CBD products. If you want a bit more information, if you sign up to our online training service, then I say there's a whole webinar, about an hour full of this, and plus some supplementary information. This was just one of 99 videos that I'm recording. Thank you for joining me. Hope to see you on the next one. Thanks very much.